Psalm 38 is a lamentation attributed to David, expressing deep distress and repentance for sin. The psalmist begins by describing the severity of his affliction, acknowledging that his troubles have been brought about by his own wrongdoing. He feels overwhelmed by his guilt and the weight of his sins, which have caused him physical and emotional pain. The psalmist compares his suffering to a crushing burden and describes his wounds as festering and foul. The psalmist reflects on the consequences of his sins and the desertion of his friends and loved ones. He feels abandoned and isolated, with even his closest companions distancing themselves from him. The psalmist cries out to God for mercy and forgiveness, acknowledging his own weakness and unworthiness. He pleads with God not to forsake him or remain silent in the face of his suffering. In the midst of his distress, the psalmist expresses his trust in God's mercy and compassion. He acknowledges God as his hope and salvation, affirming his belief that God will answer his prayers and deliver him from his troubles. The psalmist resolves to confess his sins and seek forgiveness, trusting in God's faithfulness to restore him and lift him out of despair. The psalm concludes with a plea for God's assistance and protection in the face of his enemies' schemes. The psalmist asks God to defend him and deliver him from those who seek to harm him. He expresses his confidence that God will answer his prayers and vindicate his cause, ultimately bringing him relief and salvation. Psalm 38 serves as a poignant expression of repentance and dependence on God's mercy and grace in times of trouble. Let's now read Psalms chapter 38. A Psalm of David, to bring to remembrance, O Lord, rebuke me not in thy wrath, neither chasten me in thy hot displeasure. For thine arrows stick fast in me, and thy hand presseth me sore. There is no soundness in my flesh because of thine anger, neither is there any rest in my bones because of my sin. For mine iniquities are gone over mine head, as an heavy burden they are too heavy for me. My wounds stink and are corrupt because of my foolishness. I am troubled, I am bowed down greatly, I go mourning all the day long. For my loins are filled with a loathsome disease, and there is no soundness in my flesh. I am feeble and sore broken, I have roared by reason of the disquietness of my heart. Lord, all my desire is before thee, and my groaning is not hid from thee. My heart panteth, my strength faileth me, as for the light of mine eyes, it also is gone from me. My lovers and my friends stand aloof from my sore, and my kinsmen stand afar off. They also that seek after my life lay snares for me, and they that seek my hurt speak mischievous things, and imagine deceits all the day long. But I, as a deaf man, heard not, and I was as a dumb man that openeth not his mouth. Thus I was as a man that heareth not, and in whose mouth are no reproofs. For in thee, O Lord, do I hope, thou wilt hear, O Lord my God. For I said, hear me, lest otherwise they should rejoice over me, when my foot slippeth, they magnify themselves against me. For I am ready to halt, and my sorrow is continually before me. For I will declare mine iniquity, I will be sorry for my sin. But mine enemies are lively, and they are strong, and they that hate me wrongfully are multiplied. They also that render evil for good are mine adversaries, because I follow the thing that good is. Forsake me not, O Lord, O my God, be not far from me. Make haste to help me, O Lord my salvation. This ends our reading of Psalms chapter 38.